T position hip throw, sitting down. I really don't like calling this a throw because people tend to try and throw. We're literally just sitting down on this, and if you try and do anything other than sit down, you really increase the risk of one, the move failing, but two, injuring yourself, especially your arm. And so we'll talk about why. So initially we're here on the T position. Again, I can be on the tricep, pinching the wrist. This isn't the best control in my opinion. This is just the traditional way it's shown. I don't like this because I don't feel ever super secure on this arm. But the positive to that is if he winds up, this hand just slips right to the wrist. I can come over top and pin that arm to his body, and now he can't punch, okay? A side note, sometimes you'll see it shown inside. I don't like it because if I lose the wrist here and he winds up big, I can't follow that very easy. And even though I'm tall and long, if he makes a big wind up, he can get around that and boom. So either traditional T position, he pulls out, I can switch to this, pinning the arm, or I can just clinch over top of it. And so all of those are pretty good options there. So with that said, I'll show this move and then we'll break it down. So we're gonna use this move when the person is more or less just standing vertically. So if he's hunched over a little bit, I can do the hip throw with relative ease. If he pulls away, we do the leg trip, takedown. And if he's just vertical, we're going to do the sitting down takedown. So on this one, this hip is where most of the action is going to happen. So I'm just going to block. I'm literally going to sit straight down, mounting, and following through. So what we're doing here is we're going to use this ear here to keep him upright. Okay, if I start going for this and I allow him to hunch over, now I've got to switch to a different move. So if he's upright, we're going to keep him upright. I'm going to block the far leg, and I just like to use my arch, and I literally step right on his heel. And that'll help glue that foot to the mat. What I don't want to have happen is as I start to sit and twist, he just steps over. So by literally just kind of stepping on his heel, it helps glue that foot. So from here, I'm just going to literally sit straight down. What you don't want to do is do this timber motion where I fall like a tree, okay? We come down way too hard, not only with my weight, but his weight. And I need to come down on this hand because that's what allows me to mount, okay? If I come down on my elbow or my side, I have to get up to that hand to mount. So it slows the move down considerably. And plus, if I come down on my elbow, I run the risk of injuring myself. Not really on the mats, but if we were to do this move in a self-defense situation. And so what we want to do is come down on that hand, not a straight arm, okay, a bent arm. And this takes some time to get used to. So go slow with the move, practice it without a body first. That way you're not coming down with all that weight and momentum and doing some things that can cause injury, like coming down on a straight arm or just tipping over sideways like a tree. So without a body, I've got him upright. I'm blocking the foot by stepping right on the heel. And if you watch, I'm just sitting straight down, okay? One of the hardest things to do on this move, I'm pulling on the hip here, and right at the last second, the hand goes to the mat. And so at first, you'll probably tend to hang on to that hip, and it'll kind of make you fall, and your arm will get trapped under their body. And so I'll show what that looks like with a partner. With the body here, I'll show it incorrectly. I'm not going to show the timber because that's painful, but I'll show leaving the hand on the hip. So if I leave the hand on the hip, I sit down correctly, and you can see my hand gets stuck here. So it just makes it so that I can't mount very easily. And so it just slows it down enough that you may not get the mount. So to optimize it, we want the mount, obviously. And so we're going to pull that hand out. I'll go as slow motion as we can here. And you'll see when I pull that out. So right when I feel that critical moment when he falls, boom, hand goes to the mat. And I use that, I'm more or less on my hip. I don't want to come clear up to my knee here because there's a lot of space. So I'm keeping my hip sunken as low to the mat as possible. And I'll show that from a different angle. But we're just going to pass that heel to the hip and pull ourselves to mount. So one more time from this angle. Dropping, dropping, dropping. Posting. Heel comes as close to the hip as possible, and I'm pulling into mount. So from a different angle here, I'm going to block, sit, post, pass the leg, pull to mount, keeping control of this arm. Over here, blocking, sitting, pulling, hand comes off at the last moment, passing, pulling, mount. One more time maybe from here to show that heel. Alternate. Sitting, posting, mounting. Controlling the arm in order to prevent him from pushing on that leg or blocking that leg when I try to mount. If I let go here, an advanced jiu-jitsu guy will do that, but we want to just open that space up as much as possible in order to mount. So one side note here, one important detail here is I really want to pull his hip to get him to trip over this leg. So I'll really emphasize that here, and you can even grab onto the material here. Sometimes their body's so big that you can't even cup the hip, and we can just grab the material. But I want to twist his hips here. So as I sit, I'm giving him a little pressure with my ear and pulling here. And then last second, the hand will post to the mat. So super slow motion, as slow as I can go. I'm pulling him over. Boom. Mounting, opening the space for the knee to come in and the mount. So one more angle on that. Maybe from here. He's upright. Block. Sitting and pulling him over that leg. Boom. Opening the space to mount.